They will be available on the same link. Recording will be there. All your resources should be there. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and reach out to our CNFD. It's cnfddpi@nd.gov. And our questions and answers, if we do not have time at the end, if there is more, there will be question and answer sessions available on our website that you will be able to take a look at. I do thank you for your attendance and for the attention to the details that we went over. Now, I would like to introduce USDA Foods and Tara Coster.
Good morning, everyone. I'm just going to work on getting my screen to share with you guys, and then we'll get started. Can everybody see me? Hear me? Scott, am I good? Okay. All right, welcome. I just realized yesterday as I was preparing, still even last night preparing, that I got to be the very first presenter in our first ever virtual workshop, which is a little scary. However, like, I'll make it through it. We'll be good. As Scott mentioned, please type any questions into that chat box. I am going to try and pause once in a while after we talk about topics just to hit some of those questions. So please ask away. We have plenty of time. So, okay, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to cover is entitlement. So for school year 2021, North Dakota received $5,437,000 in entitlement. Pretty good amount. And just a little background on entitlement, how entitlement is figured at the federal level. They take our total lunches served in North Dakota for the previous full year. And so for, like, right now it's the 18-19 year. I'll get to why we're using 18-19 rather than 19-20. And then they take that times the total, or the USDA per meal rate. And that is how they come up with the 5 million. And then then it's broken down per sponsor level once it hits the states. So when you log into ND Foods and you're doing your surveys and you see those, I'm starting out with $10,000. It's a part of that 5 million that comes down to you guys. So in school year 1920, we were dealing with the pandemic. School stopped, and we switched from the serving under NSLP to switched from serving under NSLP to serving under the summer food program. So because of that, those total lunches that we'd normally be counting to build up our entitlement dollars was less, because we weren't counting March, April lunches. So USDA came out with a waiver, one of many, and a state could choose to opt in or opt out of this waiver. And the waiver was, you could use 18-19 school lunches, or you could use your 19-20. Well, for us in North Dakota, 19-20, our number went down due to people stopping serving NSLP in March. So as a state, I opted in to using the 18-19 total lunches served, and it gave us more money. So that was a plus. So just a breakdown of how I spend this money: brown box, commodities, people always, tend to call them also. I spent a little bit over 3 million on that. And then you have our bulk in our process. So some of our large districts use NOI, and then also the processed foods that you order through brown box. So that bulk chicken, that bulk beef, that bulk egg, that bulk mozzarella would fall under this bulk process category. And then there's the DOD program, and so we allocated 705,000, almost 706,000 out of that 5 million into that program. And then there's this bonus. Well, we'll talk about a little bit later. We did receive some bonus foods this year. I think since I've been in this position, it's the first time we've ever received bonus foods. So we'll dive into that. So as you can see, our total spend is over what we were given. So that's great. That's awesome. Let's see. Just so the entitlement at your level. Just checking my notes here. So an example, total lunches served from previous year, we talked about times the per meal rate, which this year the per meal rate is 0.37. So we'll take Alexander Public Schools in 19, this should say 1819, not 1920, by the way. In 1819, served 27,985 meals. You take that times that USDA per meal rate. So for this school year, they are getting 10,144.56 to spend on their USDA foods, whether it's processed foods, the commodities or brown box, or the DOD, however they prefer to spend that. Entitlement does not carry over from year to year. So if you leave some on the table, you lose it. What ends up happening is that basically that's food that I've ordered that's sitting in the warehouse with those dollars. So usually another school ends up pretty much spending your money, and it's kind of silly to look at it that way, but that's how it does. They should make up approximately, it's about 15 to 20% of your total purchases during the school year. And so that means for every meal that you serve, approximately 37 cents should be the value of USDA foods. Especially this year, you hear about budgets, you know, that the school food service budget, accounts are pretty low. So utilize your USDA food money that you get, utilize your food, and make sure you spend all your dollars. So the role at the school level, and normally in our system, this is the USDA food rep. And as we know in small schools, one person can carry many roles. Say they're the USDA food rep, they're the invoice contact, so on, so on. So, but for USDA foods, what we like is you to monitor your entitlement value, make sure your entitlement is spending down, and your state match in ND foods. Your state match pays, it's a kick in from the state that helps you pay for warehouse and transportation throughout the year. And then once that's drawn down, then the school will pay for that warehouse and transportation. Complete monthly, pre-annual, monthly surveys, pre-annual surveys, annual food surveys, and the processed food surveys. So your monthly survey is your monthly survey. Everybody's familiar with that. Your pre-annual comes out before the annual. So it's required that I put out a full USDA food list to you guys, all their offerings. It's fresh, some fresh apples. Well, we know as our state being the size it is, for us to get in and get rid of fresh apples in a timely manner, it's probably not going to work. But however, it's required of me to let you guys know. So during that pre-annual survey, we draw down on those options. So when we get into the annual food survey, it's just more, it's less foods to choose from. And then the processed food survey. So that'll actually come out in the next couple of months. And it's me asking you about our current processed foods, getting your feedback. Are you happy with the current chicken nugget, patty, strip? If you could change it, what would it be? Or would you like to see an additional breaded chicken product? And then we'll go from there and bid in the fall. Monitor balances and pay invoices. So your balances and pay invoices would be if you ordered processed foods from Brown Box, and those invoices are sent out and then paid by the school, paid to us. And receiving any USDA food emails. So usually it's the USDA food rep. If I send an email out, I go into ND Foods and I just click a box. I want this email to go to every single USDA food rep that is listed in ND Foods. So if I have some information to get out to you guys, that's how I go about sending it. I've said in the past, I'm just going to say it again. It's nice to have 2 USDA food reps in there. And here's why. Because there has been times I've sent recall emails out. We have not had a recall in a few years. Thank you. And However, somebody was actually out on leave. I think she had a knee surgery or something. So she came back 2-3 weeks later after the recall notice went out, after my emails went out, and said, what is this? So other people who were taking her place in the kitchen could have been serving that product. And, you know, nobody got the email. She was out. So just a secondary to get the email. So you're covered for that information. Reporting USDA food complaints. We'll jump into that a little bit more later, but that's another thing that you should do as the USDA food rep. I mean, anybody, any of your kitchen staff can do it too, but report those complaints to me. And then there is the SCH renewals. Those are in January. And during that time is where you're going to tell me if you are interested in participating in DOD. It's an opt-in, opt-out. If you opt in, then you tell me how much of your entitlement you would like to allocate to the DOD program. And also during the SCH renewals, maybe you want to add a delivery site. Maybe there's an elementary and a high school, and all the food currently is going to the high school, but that's too much work. You want 2 deliveries, elementary, high school. So at that time, we would add that. However, keep in mind with 2 delivery sites comes, you know, increased delivery and transportation and warehouse costs. And then where you update your contacts, maybe you want to add a USDA food rep or take one off. So that's when you would do that SCH renewal. I think the biggest question I get is, when do I sign up for DOD? And it's during the renewal. So in January of 2021, you are telling me if you would like to sign up for the DOD program for the 21-22 school year. And the reason is I have to have those amounts pulled from our big, you know, $5 million. So once that's pulled out, then I know how much I can spend on brown box and in the bulk items. So that's why we request that information so early. Okay, this was new last year, and this is a little spreadsheet that I make, and it's based off your annual surveys. And it's in the handout. It should be at the way top of your chat. If you can't find it later, email me and I'll send it over to you. And what this is, similar to last year, and this is just a snippet of this year's. We have the code here. And so the total demand. Scott, can you see my mouse?
No, I cannot.
You can't? Okay.
No.
So it doesn't pay for me to sit here and point at things. Okay. No. So
can everybody mute again, please? If everybody can mute again. If everybody could mute again, please.
What did you say? Yeah. Mine is mute. Huh? Yeah, mine is mute.
Okay. Whoop. So that first is the description, the item code, the demand. So we'll just look at apple slices. It's at the top. So the demand for the whole state for apple slices was 608 cases. That's what you told me that you'd want for the whole school year, 2021. And then I take that demand and I start working, and I'm working with several other states. You know, normally with a small state, a truck of apple slices could be 1,600 cases. Well, I cannot order a full truck of 1,600 cases given our demand is only 608. So what I do is I work with probably 10 other states, and they're smaller states like us: South Dakota, Montana, Iowa's one, Nebraska's one, Colorado is one, and we work together. So say Montana wants apple slices and her demand is close to my demand. So we'll split a truck. We come up with a delivery date together to get you guys, you know, what you requested. There's a lot of back and forth, but it works out. Sometimes we can't get things to work out, but we definitely try our hardest. So I'll go back to this now. So the demand was 608. I was actually able to order 684 cases. So that means where that 76 is, that basically is saying I over ordered based on off the demand by 76 cases. And the month breakdown here just shows what you guys told me what you would like. So August combined, whole state said, I need 76 cases of apple slices, and so on. And if we go down to the beans, where the refried beans are, you'll see it's in red. I was not able to order any refried beans. The total demand was pretty small, 177. I did try and get a split with the state. We do have to order minimum trucks. It's a third truck that we have to order, but I will over order a little bit to make that minimum. But however, I just had no luck with refried beans, and we'll go through the other foods that I wasn't able to order later on. But that's how you read that. So if you planned on refried beans, August, September, October, anytime the school, you're not going to get them. So maybe just order them commercially. Or if we go down to the broccoli florets at the bottom, you'll see I was not able to get them August through December. And that says to me, I was not able to get a split then, but I could get a split later. So we are going to be getting 284 ordered less, but they'll be coming in later in the year. So basically, if I get the question, well, what if I had it on my August survey and you are not getting it in? Then you're going to have to get it commercially, unfortunately. And anybody who put it on their January, February, March, April survey will get that product. And sometimes towards the end of the year, I mean, we don't stick you to your annual survey amounts exact. We try and keep with them as much as possible. And just to divert a little bit here, when you're filling out a food survey, it tells you on your screen what you requested during that month for your annual survey. So that can help guide you. If you want to go a little bit under, a little bit over, you can. I look at every month when I close the orders, I glance down and I can see, who put what on their annual survey. So if I have to cut, if I have 400 cases of something, however, the demand for that month was 500 for broccoli. Obviously, I have to cut 100 cases. So that is the first thing I look for, who put it on their annual survey for that month. And if you didn't, then you'd be the first I'd cut or reduce. So that is how that works. Let me just check my notes here. Another thing to note, purchasing this year was it was the hardest year ever for purchasing. A lot of canceled products, a lot of turned back products. There was beef prices were extremely, extremely high. There was one point where I had about $240,000 left to spend of our big $5 million. And I usually tend to overspend a little bit, actually go into the red, just to take into account for any kind of cancellations. And I looked one day and I was $900,000 overspent. So I had to cut. And I ran the reports I run, and it was the beef. So the beef last year was $110 a case, approximately. There was a little bit of fluctuation in that. This year, I paid $140 to $160 per case of ground beef. So we did have to cancel a couple beef loads, but we're still good. But we took a hit with the beef this year. And so last year when you ordered ground beef, you were paying approximately $110 a case. This year when you order it, you'll be paying whatever that costed, $140, $160 a case. So, and those case prices are updated in ND Foods as to what I paid at, at the federal level. Okay, I'm just gonna break this down again. I pretty much already covered this, just to go through the demand, the ordered, either I over-ordered or under-ordered based on the demand. Let's see. Okay, the food's not ordered. So as you can see, refried beans, pepper jack cheese, that was a new item this year. I'm going to talk about that later on, but I tried to order every single one of these items. They would all required a split, and I just couldn't make it happen. So those are the items, if you put on your annual survey, that we will not be getting in this year. So if you're still interested, you would have to order them commercially. The yogurt strawberry cup, I highlighted that here. As you can, I ordered 0. Your demand was 2204. I ordered none. Reason being is they have a minimum case amount for the yogurt, and it's $4.20. We didn't come close, and I am comfortable over ordering, sometimes even 100 over the demand. However, it just would have been for August. It just didn't work out this year. So if that's something you guys like in the future, you know, keep that in mind. It takes the whole state to, you know, get to that demand of, I would like to see about at least 380 before I'd order 420, but so no yogurt this year, no strawberry yogurt this year. Okay, these bonus foods at that second slide I talked about bonus foods. Okay, so the Fed, maybe you've heard about trade mitigation. So a lot of our programs that we deal with are getting these trade mitigation foods, and the government is basically giving us bonus foods. And and how this works is the USDA offers certain foods to certain states. So I'll get an email and they'll say, here's what we're offering you. You can take it or leave it. And then if I leave it, another state takes it. I did turn down a couple because it was just, they do not want you to take anything that you can't get rid of. And they do want you to make sure all your entitlement dollars are spent before you even look into these bonus foods. Some of the stuff I said yes to is the shredded cheese. It is, and then the delivery date on the screen. So that's when it's coming into booth. So obviously there will be a little lag time before it, you know, comes into booth and gets out to you. So I anticipate that survey, it'll be on your survey in October, December, October for those items. So another thing I want to note is trade mitigation foods get canceled all the time. So they say, we're going to order you this case of, or this truck of cheese. And then I'll get an email 2 weeks, a month before delivery. And they will say it was canceled due to vendor constraints, pricing, or lack of bids. So USDA puts out a bid. They say, I need this product. And if they don't get people to bid on that, then they can't order it. Sometimes they'll try it again. So what that does is it pushes a delivery date back. So it might be on your survey, 2 months. I usually do the surveys about 2 months prior to your delivery month. If it's on, it could be on your survey and you could put a quantity in there, but by the time you get your order, it could have been canceled by USDA. So what I would do is check your order 2 weeks prior to your delivery month. So if you're getting a delivery in December, November 15th, jump into ND Foods and pull up your order. And if you need to know how to do that, reach out to me and I can help you out. Pull up your order and that'll give you a good idea of what you're getting for that next delivery month. So, if you counted on that item and you have to get it commercially, it gives you a couple weeks to do that. And keep in mind, items will not count against your entitlement. So bonus, it's basically free. But please only take what you can use. Yeah, very important. I know we're like, oh, it's free, let's take it all, but take what you can use. All right, so Scott, I'm gonna stop right now. Do you have any questions that have popped up?
Just about handouts, and we'll just have to figure out how we're gonna get these handouts to anybody because they do not see them when they scroll to the top.
Okay. And I think we do have everybody's email address who signed up for the USDA food workshop. So, or these handouts that I have at the top of the chat, they're actually on our website. So that'll be another outlet that you probably have to go to get those. So, okay. All right, I'll continue on.
Just one question, Tara. Will it say on the monthly survey that it is bonus?
Yes. It usually just says bonus right at the end of it. So, yep, absolutely. Okay, we good? All right. Okay, processed foods for school year 2021. Normally, if I just want to tell you how we do this. So we usually go out for bid We write specs. So if we're interested in a chicken nugget, I work with some of the districts. We write a spec, the state, myself, I come up with just a general skeleton spec, whole grain chicken nugget, and we put some sodium levels to it, you know, kind of build that nugget for what works best for your program. And then they bid, and then Pilgrim's Pride or Tyson or whoever will come in and say, I have a nugget for you. And then we taste test it, and we check prices. I mean, there's a method to the madness, but a lot goes into it. Normally, if we don't just add a product to a contract. We have to go through the official steps, taste testing, checking prices in order to get that product. However, due to the circumstances that we are going through, we cannot hold our formal taste test. We just can't do what we did. So I don't have to get into too much detail, but I was able to add some extra items to the processed foods this year, but so it'll go for 2021. It wouldn't have been on your annual survey. You can still order it. Okay, so Pilgrim's Pride. Good news. I did have 2 additional products. However, they did tell me they're not going to produce one about a week ago. So a new item this year is the hot and spicy patty. So maybe for those intermediate high schools, from what I hear, it's not too spicy, but maybe get a case and you can decide that on your own. The whole grain chicken strip. About a week ago, I also hear that it's only going to be available for August and September, which, as you all know, those surveys are done, complete, and I've sent those orders in to the processor. They are making room for other high demand items on their production line. So they got rid of the chicken strips. And as you guys know, it is a 50-50 item. So it's 50% dark, 50% white meat item. And there's higher demand. That's all I know. So I am going to look into, we currently have a contract with Tyson. I'm going to see what they can offer, and maybe I can divert, because I send those bulk pounds, that chicken, to Pilgrim's Pride. Maybe I can divert some of those pounds to Tyson and check on another chicken strip. However, I have not even looked into it yet, so I'll keep you guys all posted on that. A chicken strip's a pretty popular item. That's a pretty big disappointment. Let's see. Asian chicken, same as last year, is the Yangs. You guys, when I sent out a survey a year ago, you guys were all happy with these current products. I know there are a few that we have to rebid next year just because you can only have a contract for so long. So I'll get into that later. But so the Asian chicken, it's Yang's, same 3 products. We did not add any products to that. JTM beef, same products as last year. The egg products, anything highlighted in yellow is new this year. And you'll see that IW in front of them. That means it's individually wrapped. I tried to add some individually wrapped items to our options this year, just in case serving might look a little bit different for you, whether you're bringing it in the classroom or distance learning goes in and you're sending stuff home. You know, I don't know. I just tried to prepare for anything, but we got quite a few added to Cargill for this year. And then if it's something that you love, when we rebid next year, this could be a spec that you could tell me, I really liked that those ham and cheese to go individually wrapped items. So let's do that. Let's go out for bid for that. So keep that in mind. Feedback. I love feedback, positive and negative, on these items. And then we have the pizza items, which again, through Schwann, same as last year. And we did add some individually wrapped items at the bottom there. Anything that's, again, anything IW is individually wrapped. And then another new product is some potato items, just 3 of them. 3 potato items. This might be a little bit limited. I was not I was not able to order as much bulk potato as I wanted because I had to cut so much of my funds for that 214,000 I told you I had left. Part of that money was earmarked for some bulk potato. However, I wasn't able to, but I got creative. Some states can't use all their pounds. I reached out to the manufacturer, which in this case is Cavendish, and I said, do you have any states that have excess pounds? Yes, there always is a state that has excess pounds. So I was able to get, I think about 30,000 pounds, and that'll come in October. So that's a good thing. So we'll see how long this lasts. It could take us through the whole year, but those are 3 items that are added. Oh, one more plug for the processed foods is there's another session, processed food with the brokers, that we have coming up Tuesday at 11. And again, I'm getting
Hold
some
on,
feedback,
Tara.
Scott.
Yeah, let me mute everybody. Okay, go ahead and unmute yourself, Tara, and you can continue. Sorry.
Okay. So we have the USDA processed food with the brokers on tomorrow at 11 and at 2:30. So I wanted them to, when we talked to them about joining the conference, having this session, I'm like, let's focus on the items, the main focus on the items that are processed through the state. I wanted them to give you guys recipe ideas, different recipe ideas, and serving ideas, thinking outside that box so you can use your foods. So for, let's say, Yang's, you know, we have the chicken, the Asian chicken, you know, maybe with that cherry blossom chicken, rather than serving it on a side of, you know, with rice or whatever that side is, thinking outside the box, maybe there's another way you can serve that to your students. Again, using your USDA foods and having them be very versatile. So if you have not signed up for that brokers one, you can reach out to me. I can send you the link. If you're, I know we've had a couple of issues of people not being able to find the links or not reach out to me, and we can help you out with that. So tomorrow at 11 and at 2:30, and there's Q&A at the end. So processed food fee. I just wanted to quickly touch on this. I get, you know, we have maybe some new people, and even some people have been there a while, always do have questions on how this is broken down. So I took one of our items, which is the beef patty, fully cooked, 2 ounce, and there's 2 prices, costs associated with that. There's the USDA value per case. So that is the beef that goes into making that case of beef patty. The value is $70.75. That amount is deducted from your entitlement value in ND Foods. And then there's the processing fee, $26.19 per case. That is what you pay. So the USDA value is deducted from your entitlement value. The processing fee is what is billed to you. So that'd be like if you were ordering it commercially. So commercially, the product would be both of those combined, you know, maybe even plus. And always do your due diligence and checking prices. Just because it's coming from us doesn't mean it's always the cheapest price on those processed foods, or any food for that matter. You know, even green beans, they have an entitlement value. Even though you're not writing a check for that, there is still a value that's being drawn down from your entitlement. So always do your due diligence and double check those prices. New item for school year 2021. I try and feature anything that USDA has put out. This year, there was only one, and it was the pepper jack shredded cheese. And there's some details right there. The demand from the annual survey was 241 cases. I was not able to make a split, so we will not be getting that in, but I still would like to share it with everybody in case it's on the survey for next year. Okay, DOD, Fresh Root Vegetable Program, school year 2021. We have 47 sponsors participating, several sites. And like I mentioned before, 705,000, almost 706,000 allocated to the program. And some to-dos that you should do on your end. Log into Favors. Favors is the website where you place your DoD orders and you receipt your DoD orders. Make sure your balances are in there and make sure your balances look like what you told me that you wanted, you know, during that SCH renewal. And if something looks odd, please email me ASAP and we'll figure it out. If you're new to DoD, there's a few that are new, or maybe you're a new cook to the school and we need to get you signed up for Favors. Favors is the website. And if you have not gotten those emails, please email me and let me know and we'll get it going. It doesn't take too long. Okay. Again, I'm just going to go through some of the delivery protocols that you should go through and get in your DoD delivery. So examine quality, condition, quantity. Since this is a USDA program, they just want to make sure they're getting what they put out to get. Okay. So when they bid these, you know, they expect a certain quality and condition of this product. So it's up to you guys to let us know through Favors, through that ordering system, receipting system, if product is not good quality, good condition. So any product quality issues or quantity and the quantity affected. So say you got 10 bags of lettuce. I'm not sure if it comes by the case or bags, but 5 of those bags were terrible quality. That is something that you should report. And you do that during your receipt in Favors. Note any quantity discrepancies in Favors and on your BOL. BOL is bill of lading. So it's that piece of paper that you get that shows what you should be getting. So you want to handwrite on there, note on there, because they take a copy and you should have a copy. And I know you probably don't have a copy machine in your kitchen. So maybe just grab your phone, take a quick picture of it, store it, then you have it. If there's issues, but note any issues on the handwrite them on the BOL, because that'll go back to our vendors, US Foods for the DoD program. That'll go back to US Foods and also you have record. Because you should not get charged for something that is not good quality, or if you didn't get. Take clear photos of any issues. We talked about that. Document all issues prior to signing the document. Talked about that. Is the product US grown? It has to be grown in the US. If it's not and you catch it before the truck leaves, try and just reject it, send it back on the truck. If that happens, you have to report it. And your first contact for their DLA representatives for the DoD is Jody Decker. Her email's there. And then you'll always want to copy in Karen and myself. I'm kind of the middleman when it comes to the DoD program. So have us included on any issues that are with DoD. And then receipt your order in Favors within 5 days. That's very, very important that you receipt it with 5 days. And what that does is you go in there, you say, I got these products, and then USDA sees, okay, this school got their product, and they can then pay the vendor. Okay, something they started in October, I think it was October 2019, is showing the state of origin during, this is just a catalog snippet that I took on Sunday from the DoD catalog, and they are requiring now that the state of origin is on or in the catalog. So the closest state that I saw was Minnesota. I just highlighted it there. There was nothing in North Dakota. And what should you do if you want to source local foods through USDA DoD Fresh? So you want to contact the fresh produce vendor, that's US Foods, or you can just go through me because it's probably easier. And then we can start the conversation to find out what local products your vendor expects to carry throughout the year. Or if you have an interest in a specific local produce, let's make that known to the USDA DOD fresh vendor, which in our case is US Foods. Okay, every year I go through the USDA food deliveries, booths responsibilities, and then the school's responsibilities. They do have contracted delivery hours, so 7:30 and 4 p.m. If they call you and ask you, you know, do you care if I come at 7? Do you care if I come at 4:30, 5? You can say no, or you can say yes and work for them, but that does have to be arranged if it's outside that 7:30, 4 p.m. delivery window. The Friday before your delivery week, you will receive an email from Booth Warehouse informing you what day you will receive your delivery. So Thursday, Friday, you'll get an email from Diane at Booth, and it'll basically say your delivery is going to be there on Tuesday, and she'll have the list, you know, 1 through 10 deliveries. So if you are number 5 in that list, probably going to be in midday. They don't do times, but you can kind of see where you're at in their delivery list. They have to get a signature from you. That's how they get paid. Those signature sheets that you sign, it gets brought back to our booth, and they scan those to us, and then we enter that information into the system. So if you were missing a case of something and you wrote missing 1 case apple slices, we go into your customer order, deduct that from your customer order, so your entitlement value is not drawn down. They do have to leave you a customer order copy, and the delivery driver will make the determination of where the product will be unloaded. The driver is not required to place the food in coolers, freezers, etc. And this year, I'm going to be sending out, I think it's Microsoft Forms it's through. I'm going to be requesting that everybody, some schools did it last year, but everybody give us a couple, 1, maybe 2 cell phone contact numbers, somebody who's not in the office. You know, we learned this year when we closed down in March and we still had April deliveries, you know, people weren't in schools. So, or maybe they just wanted to go there to accept the delivery and not hang out all day and wait for them to show up. So that gave the driver, if we had that contact, that cell phone number, it gave the driver an opportunity to call that person and say, hey, I'm going to be there in an hour, meet you there. So we're going to request that this year. So look for that in your email. And if you want to put down 2 contacts for the driver, that would be even better. So that will be coming.
I got one question for you,
One.
Tara. Is US
Yep.
Foods the DOD again this year?
Yes, it is. I want to circle back to booth deliveries. The drivers this year, I always like to update people on the drivers. That seems to be something you like to hear. So Dwayne, this year again, and everybody loves him. It sounds like everybody loves him. He loves everybody. It's just great. And he usually does Bismarck to West. And then Matt is a new driver this year. However, he was a driver about 1.5 years ago, and he does Bismarck going east. So again, if you ever have any issues with your deliveries, please reach out to me. And I'm kind of the middleman, and we always get it straightened out. We always work it out. So anything, rude driver, anything, please let me know. Okay, so the school staff's responsibility. Check the quantity, type, condition of all products against the customer order. Sign a copy of the delivery sheet. At a minimum, get a total case count of the product and match the physical count with the case count listed on that customer order. So that customer order you get from the delivery driver, there's a spot where it tells you your total cases that you should be getting for that delivery. So 20 total cases. And I know there's times where you guys are in the middle of serving, the middle of something. Maybe you have a janitor helping you out or just some other staff. If they could just get that total case count at the minimum, and then you can break it down per product later on and let me know. That benefits you the most, because if you're missing an item, you don't want it to get deducted from your entitlement value. Or if you're missing a processed food item, if you didn't get a case of chicken nuggets, but then you're going to pay the processing fee for that case. Then you're, paying for something you didn't get. So at a bare minimum, get that total quantity case count. And the delivery schedule is available on our website. That was also one of my handouts in the top of the chat, but that'll be on our website. And if your school will be closed the week of your delivery, it is the school's responsibility to call Booth or call myself, and I will let Booth know that you are going to be closed. I keep hearing about some schools starting later than normal. Yeah, communication is key. August orders will be delivered. They have been pulled, picked, staged in the warehouse. If your school is not happening in September for some reason, or we all know the reason, but for the late start, then you have to tell me by August 15th if you want to cancel the September order. Okay. Deliveries and surveys. Again, delivery survey schedule on our website. And the August and September surveys have been completed. The October survey will be available August 3rd through the 16th. So DPI website. So this is the USDA food portion of the DPI website. And you'll find all these items on there. Your delivery weeks, sometimes you're referred to as you're on route A, you're on route B, you're on route C, but you don't know what route you are. So those individually routes are on there. So it'll have route A, all the schools listed in route A. And then the USDA delivery guidelines that we went through, those are also posted on the website. And any food fact sheets, processed and commodity or brown box, same thing, but everybody calls them something different. Links to those. Okay, another thing I want to point out. I added something to the bottom of my email signature this year for a quick reference. I get a lot of questions of, can you send me that food fact sheet? Where do I find this survey schedule? So what I did this year, at the bottom of my email signature, that CNFD, USDA Food, NSLP, if you click on that, it'll take you straight to the USDA food portion of our website where you can find all this information. So, and I'm sure you have an email that you can always dig up somewhere in your inbox or your deleted that you can find from me. Okay, we're just going to go through some inventory management best practices. I think a lot of people have some full freezers right now. Receiving, inspect product as it is received. Date product with the day it was received. So you'll see people write on the case, 8/2020, August 2020, I got it in. So that if you're moving inventory around in your warehouse, then you don't lose track of when you got that. It's very important. Report to the state agency if product does not meet spec. So this would be that USDA food complaint that we talked about in an earlier slide. And what I need is the information listed. Pictures are the best. And now most of you have my cell phone number, so you can just text me those pictures along with all this information and I can get it done. This is the information that the USDA asks me when I log on to their website and report a USDA food complaint. So this isn't any extra stuff I'm collecting. This is specifically what they ask me for the information. Storing. Stock should be rotated, utilizing first in, first out, and then maintain sanitary conditions, proper temperature, humidity, adequate air circulation. I'm sure you guys know all that. But the first in, first out is very important. And I know a lot of you don't have huge freezers, huge storage areas. So sometimes you'll take the bag of the patties out of the case because it's easier to store a plastic bag full of patties in your freezer versus the case. You could get in a little, not like real trouble doing this, but how you can get in trouble doing that is if there was a recall, and I mention this every year, but I don't think I can say it too many times, that Pilgrim's Pride, we'll just use them. they had a recall a few years ago. They said, if you have this case lock code that is on your case, dispose of it, don't serve it. I had people calling me going, I have 6 bags of, I don't know, what lock code it is. What do I do? Throw it. You're gonna have to throw it all out. And it could have been okay product, but you have to err on the side of what if that was part of the recall. So keep that in mind. Maybe you can come up with a creative way. I don't know. Let me know if you have any ideas and I'll pass them on. A creative way, still taking it out of the box, but keeping that information. Okay, another question I get all the time is, especially in March and April and May even, that I have so many cases of this. The best if used by date is about a month away and I'm not going to get rid of it. What can I do? Can I sell it? No, you can never sell USDA foods to anybody. What you can do, you can donate it to a nonprofit. So if it's close to its best if used by date, or you just know you're not going to be able to get rid of the quantity that you have and the time frame you have to get rid of it in, then donate it to a food bank, local church, any nonprofit, maybe another school. Maybe there's a couple months left on that best if used date. Maybe another school in your area can use it. You can absolutely give it to them. Okay, this year, earlier I talked about the processed food and kind of what we do when we go out for bid, writing the specs. And this year I've decided to have a processed foods advisory board. I would like a mix of small, medium, and large districts. I think all your voices matter when it comes to this, whether you're serving 20 kids or thousands of kids. I think all your voices matter. So 15 to 20 members I'm looking at. I'm in the very beginning stages of planning this, but your responsibilities are going to be to assist in determining the USDA processed foods for schools. What are schools interested in? You guys talk all the time. You know the products way better than I do. And what do we want to get in for processed foods? Probably going to be 3 to 4 teleconference meetings annually. And it usually starts happening in November. And usually we have an award by February. So during that time frame is when we'll be meeting. Taste testing, we do have to go out for bid this for the next school year. I'm not sure how the taste testing is going to work. But so we'll see how that happens, if that happens. But that's kind of the fun part. And I would be willing to travel to different spots of the state to conduct taste testings. In the last few years, last couple of years, Michelle from Bismarck has been so gracious to host it at Legacy. So we get the brokers there, who's ever bid on the certain product that we're bidding, and they prepare the food. We get students to test it, and sometimes even faculty, and then, some food service staff. And we conduct a taste testing. And that's basically how we come up with the processed food. I work with our fiscal office and all the technical contract details. And that's how we roll it out. So look for that email in September. I would really love. It's not going to take a whole bunch of your time, but it will take a little bit of your time. The meetings aren't long. But it would be nice. Get in it and see if you like to do it and be a part of it. Any questions, Scott?
The only question that I have in there is if they do receive fruits or vegetables that are not grown in the U.S., if they're supposed to send them back. I don't know
If you can, so if your truck has not left yet, if US Foods has not left yet, yes, refuse it. Write on the BOL, that bill of lading, not made or not a US product, and they will take it back with them. But if you don't if it's after the fact, you notice, that's another thing I want to bring up. If you have somebody helping you, maybe a janitor, another food staff, not the normal person unloading the trucks, please run through these delivery responsibilities with them. Let them know what to look for. Again, we're not always going to be perfect. We're going to miss things, and because life gets crazy, but you know, majority of the time, be nice if everybody's in the same loop and they know what to look for. But yes, absolutely. If it's not US, send it back on the truck. And then if you find it after the fact, reach out to those contacts, those DLA representatives, and loop me in that too, so I can make sure they are responding to you. They're usually good about responding.
Okay, the last question that we'll take, are cucumbers and peppers something able to be added to the DoD foods list?
So it's usually stuff that is in season. So like when you go to your grocery store and cherries are in season. So if it's in season, yes, I think it's likely we can start the conversation. You know, start with emailing me, and then I can start the conversation with the vendor and the DLA representatives, the DoD representatives, and we can chat about it.
Well, thank you everybody for joining today's session. If you are, we will join you in the next session, which will be food safety and beyond.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.